Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about Imax camera or 70mm. So let's dive right into it. Well, first you have to understand we are not talking about a camera, we are talking about more like a format. Now, format always have a very messy history, and anybody who has followed anything, they know there is always a format war. And I'm talking as early as like a vinyl LP. There is always a format war, be it VCR versus Betamax, be it Blu-ray versus HD DVD. It's always there. It always has been. It always will be. So same thing happened with entertainment industry also. You have to understand this very thoroughly. The first thing that came was cinema. Cinema became big, huge, big money makers. Then came TV, and then came HD TV, and it will become more clear as I go along. So this format war, it's kind of inevitable, and HD DVD was the final nail in the coffin. So let's dive right into it. Now, history that you have to understand in this context is like film needed to be different because as the black and white TV started to come along, and you have to understand back then even cinema was black and white. There was not much intention in terms of like, okay, let's go to cinema just to watch it. People did that, but not enough people started to avoid it, that we were like movie manufacturers, basically people who actually whose job is to like make movies, sell it, distribute it, make money off it. They started to notice it. And I'm talking, this is like the 1950s and all that. So people are like, okay, we have to up the ante. Basically cinema have to stand out to a point where they are like, no, you cannot get this quote unquote experience in your 4-inch, 5-inch, yeah, back in the that's how big you were gonna get TV. So TV started to become like a what we call cheaper experience, but it was good enough because theater was not that much better. So what people did is they created two formats because of the TV's limitation, cathode ray tube technology. It was limited to 4:3. Okay, that's everything is fine and dandy, and even old film cameras were also shooting in that part. But somebody came along with many different ideas. Many ideas were tried. One of the idea that got stuck was using anamorphic lens. What was the benefit of that? Benefit, it gave you ultra wide. Now, why does that matter? Well, once you get ultra wide, the reality was cinema theater started to give something tangibly different, and I mean so different that you inherently cannot experience that in your home. And again, size was a main thing, but again, if you take the same thing and stretch it, it's not that much impressive. But make you wide, your eyes have to travel from point A to point B. That inherently feels different. That's like, whoa, I'm looking from point A to point B. Like that inherent field of view increase inherently started to make cinemas much more what you will call unique. The experience started to pick up, and like again, many methods were tried. This one kind of stuck around 21:9. It became quote unquote film ratios. So that's the history of it. Basically cinema had to do something in 1950s, so they can stand out. They can say like, no, we are truly better. Now one of the major advantage sound basically theaters had was sound. They got much better sound compared to your mono sound that you got out of TV. 1950s kind of technology. But it did started a trend where you had TV that is completely independent, shot in 4:3, versus movie that are shot in 21:9. Now again, this is not a God's law where it's like absolute that point, but you get the idea. Like ultra wide is cinema, and then you have 4:3, which is TV. So people can easily say, hey, I'm going to watch a cinema, I'm gonna have an experience. Now comes along 16:9 full HD. Now why this is the end of cinema? Well, it started in 2007. Now be mindful, the standard, the ratio, all of that was like before in the works many long ago. Like very long ago, people were already working on it. However, this was standardized. Like this will be the next format of television in the entire planet. It's like that's a completely different thing. Like making something in a lab versus actually mass adopting something, that's a completely different ballgame. Now this happened in 2007, 2008, and now the main thing was it was the biggest update television ever got. Like TV went through some multiple upgrades, basically going from 128 by 128 to like slowly becoming a bit more ratio to 480. Like they had upgrades, but this was like phenomenal, huge upgrades. Basically they went from stereo sound to basically full HD sound. So what standard was stabilized with? This is going to be full HD. Now it will be 1080p. Now that is critical aspect. It will have enough lines to show high resolution content, and it will look tangibly better compared to 480. The jump from 480 to full HD is so huge that if you jump from full HD to 4K, it's not there anymore. So like looking like this too, like whoa, That's the jump. So this jump was huge. They created the pixel size that was 1920, aka like this, 1920 and 1080 like this, and 16 by 9. Now you might be like, why 16 by 9? That exact issue. Even though it's a TV standard, why the heck they chose 16 by 9? You have to understand this. When this standard was created, if they had not made it any unique in any fashion, nobody would buy it. And if they made it incompatible with old things, nobody would buy it. So they were in a scenario where they had to make it unique enough and make it backwards compatible enough. So they came up with a mathematically ingenious idea. That is the 16 by 9. Why? Because let's say you're watching a movie. Let's say HBO Max is like, okay, I'm going to distribute cinema. So in 4 by 3, you generally going to get a crop thing. But what if in the HD stream they are doing that? You're gonna get letterbox, but you're gonna get the full wide experience. You're gonna have amazing experience. But what about news channel? What about sports? The things that are still shot in 4 by 3 cameras. No problem. You're gonna get full height, and you're gonna only get basically pillar box. That's the amazing aspect. Basically, you watch old TV, you're gonna get pillar box. You're still gonna use the full height. But if you watch movies, you're gonna get full width. You're gonna enjoy the wide experience, and you're still gonna get letter experience. So inherently, this is the maximum compatibility format. It allows you to enjoy old TVs, it allows you to enjoy your movies. This inherently ended up killing the theater industry, because again the jump already went like ludicrously high, from 480 to 1080. That jump was huge. Sound quality, all the other improvements, and the fact that you can inherently experience wide angle as wide angle, because before this you have to understand, movies that were shown on TVs, they were like literally cropped, like you can miss things. In this, that was not an issue. So it inherently changed the game. Like it's completely different ball game. So we come to Imax. Now, Imax is more or less the same thing that companies used to do back in the day. Basically, trying to stand out. You have to stand out, otherwise you will not make money. They're like, dude, I get it, you're cinema and all that jazz, but I ain't got time for this. So people started to create this Imax marketing hype, and you can see that like the most annoying thing is like you will see Doctor Strange doing like this kind of animation where it's like, you know, the bars are moving. I'm like, dude, all you are doing is going to normal TV ratio of 16 by 9. So it's just a ratio. That's why like, oh, it's much taller, you can show much more. No, that's not how camera works. You move the freaking, that's not how framing works. It's like you do not have like crop things. Yeah, I'm gonna be cropped. That's not what they're doing. What they're doing is basically selling you 70mm in different packaging. Now 70mm is a very old trend. I mean so old that the movie 2001 Space Odyssey was actually shot on 70mm actual film. Now the most amazing experience I had in terms of 70mm was not actually seeing in 70mm, but footage of actual Apollo missions. Actual Apollo 9 mission was captured in 70mm, but the movie studio that did Universal, they never released the movie. They did not find it appealing or doing anything. But some people found the footage in around 2017 and they digitized it. Now 70mm is a huge format. It's like freaking huge. What does that mean? That simply means more dynamic range, more everything. Size is directly proportional to the quality. Like if you take a 16mm film compared to a 35mm, compared to a 50mm, compared to a 70mm, there is no comparison here. There is no competition. Oh, crop factor does not matter. No, it's mind-bogglingly different. It's like, and the footage that they had, like it's actual NASA footage. It's like people with cameras actually shooting Neil Armstrong and all that jazz. That was done on 70mm. Nowadays, they took the 70mm footage, scanned it in 4K, full HDR, full amazing quality, and when you will see that, you will be shocked. I can guarantee you will be shocked. Like, dude, Neil Armstrong never supposed to look that good. I'm like, I'm only familiar with like old hazy videos and black and white footage. I'm like, why the heck this is so amazing? It's mind-boggling, and like it will hurt you more when they will show the actual footage. Okay, it's more like a documentary. So when they actually show the black and white footage that was captured with that kind of technology, you're like, wow. The mindset was mind-bogglingly different. Like that's a true 4K. So when Christopher Nolan is going for IMAX, he's not going for that 16 by 9. That's like TV. That's like you and me. That's in this exact video. What he is going after is that 70mm aspect, because inherently, even in digital sensor, if you have 70mm, you are on a different ball game. Like that's a completely, the bigger the sensor, the better you get. So same thing happens from APS-C sensor to full frame to medium format. Same thing is happening here. 70mm, it's like a known mathematical fact. 70mm is that's the same thing done in Mission Impossible, same thing done in other movies also. So that is why people want to shoot this, because if your pipeline that is coming in, it's very big, very fat, you're gonna have a lot of room, lot of experience detail that you can be like, yeah, the skin tone, the color, the micropores of people's skin, all those detail will be there. That's why people are going after this. Now, if they are going after 70 millimeter, why the heck they advertise like this? Like, what you have to understand, cinemas are no longer profitable, and after this pandemic there is a very serious chance cinema industry will no longer be as strong as it used to be. So what's happening here is that movie theaters, they are taking a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger chunk out of a movie. Basically, they're like, you can sell 100 tickets. In old days, you will make, let's say, $10. Now you can sell 100 tickets and you will make $1. Basically, per ticket profit is no longer growing; it's actually shrinking, and that is why like everybody's mad with about this, because again, electricity costs, inflation, all that. Well, there is like a whole host of messy issue. But the reality is, right now, it would be a better for a movie theater to like movie manufacturer to make a movie and directly sell it to, like, direct DVD. And one Blu-ray sold is equivalent to 10 tickets. So basically, profit wise, I'm not talking like in terms of actual cost, in terms of profit the company will make, it's almost like that. So companies want to make money. Again, if they are not making money, what's their point? So they want to do this. Now this started to happen as Blu-ray started to become popular, as full HD started to become popular, and after that streaming started to come in. And that was the final nail in the coffin, because nobody is going to theater, Netflix and chill, and people are nowadays watching movies in freaking mobile phone. And you can understand that, like, again, you can be a like connoisseur where you're like, I'm gonna have a theater experience and all that. Can you have that in your home? Absolutely. 4K, true HDR, OLED, you done. Like, there is nothing that a theater can do. Like, only thing they may be able to do is like have a better sound system, and you may bypass that if you have a quality headphone. So that's the reality of it. Like, people are realize that ultra wide is dying. So to make you like be more comfortable with the fact that they are killing the signature aspect of the cinema, they're like, they're giving this nice animation. It's like, whoa, and I'm like, that's not how it works. But again, I understand their frustration, I understand their limitation, but what you should be focused on is that big fat format sensor. That's the whole point. That's why Alexa made this Alexa 65 medium format is back. That's the whole point. That's why Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War was shot on that. Even Winter Soldier was shot on that. So that Winter Soldier was like a kind of trial run, but this was like complete 100% of the footage pipeline was made for that. Dunkirk also was also the same thing. So you no longer go for that 70mm film. It's not necessary. 70mm simply means 70mm. It can be digital or it can be film, and that's why they are doing it, because they have to slowly kill away 21:9. That ratio is long gone. So basically, enjoying that YOLO amount of immersion, that's slowly gonna go away, and it's inevitable. And especially after this pandemic, I'm like, damn, cinema industry is gonna have like a lot of pain. So this was my presentation on that Imax camera. I hope this clarified some things, help you understand something. I have provided a lot of videos down below, you can watch that. And in this scenario, please click the like button if you enjoyed it, had fun with it. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I'd urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment, and please leave a comment because I try to reply to all of them. And subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.